diapers, or getting back to sleep at night when they would rather be sleeping, but they heard some noise, moved next door, and fed you as needed, and took care of you. So now you're at the point where you feel you're independent, and you are on a certain level, but you do owe a couple of your parents, of course, and obviously to those that guided you, your teachers, both in the morning and in the afternoon, have provided you with essential guidance to help mold you into the person that you are. I want to continue a little bit and talk about the upcoming Conscious Torah. I know it's not until next Shabbos, but a person has to be forward-thinking in whatever they do, and think about the past. And if you don't want to be, I'll talk about Conscious Torah that we read 25 years ago. And this week we read Shlach, and there is a certain link between Shlach and Torah. And I want to talk about certain lessons that I think we can glean from the leadership of Moshe Rabbeinu. And you know, Moshe Rabbeinu, sages tell us that he chose to send spies. It was his decision, Shlach L'cha, his decision to send the spies. And he had hesitation because he realized it may not be a great environment for the spies. He realized the challenges. And despite that, he said, I'm going to do it anyway. Chazal say they called Yoshua, edited extra yud to Yoshua, means Hashem, Kol Yoshiacha, should help you from Aragnim, which means to say he was readily cognizant of the potential challenges that being in such an environment could pose. Also, in Parshas Korach, the whole tribe of Reuben assembled, which means to say Moshe Rabbeinu was battling social pressure. There was a lot of pressure you guys will feel, and the first lesson, of course, was to make a decision on your own with guidance from your parents and your teachers, and the Torah, obviously, that's what Kadosh Baruch Hu gives us, but to make a decision on your own, and realize those decisions sometimes are going to go against the norm. It's going to go against what people say. You don't do it because you want to go against the norm, you're doing it because it's right, even if it turns out not to be popular. So Moshe Rabbeinu made this decision, and he knew and he saw that the people in Sheba and Reuben were simply against him, and they had a very good argument. And despite that, he persisted because it was the right thing to do. Now, the other thing about Soloveitchik, I've spoken about this, the argument was a good argument. He called it the logical argument that they had, the logical rebellion. Because what did they say? Why did they pick these people to be the leaders of Israel? You call the Ego Kadosh. Everyone is home. That's a popular sentiment today. You have politicians running on this platform that everyone is equal, everyone is great. You could give me, if I'm the leader, I'm representing you. And that somehow tends to work. That's what Korach said, and that's an argument you really can't argue with until Moshe Rabbeinu said, when you call up on us, until I can't argue with that. Until obviously a higher authority, Kadosh Baruch Hu, intervenes and says, well, I'll settle this argument, it's going to be in the death of Korach and the people. So it means to say that one, you just decide on your own, not that you're 17, 18, going out on your own, you're leaving a little school, and you weren't the first guy to graduate from the new building, you know that, you keep out of that. You had a lot of guidance for the past years from your parents and teachers. It also means to say that you have to make decisions on your own, even if they're unpopular, because of the right thing, and be able to withstand the pressure of the people around you. The third thing that I find amazing is Moshe Rabbeinu's whole philosophy, his whole endeavor, his whole enterprise, as they say today, was to do something. Imagine if someone told Bill Gates, right? Someone told Jeff Bezos, some idea of AI is supposed to be something that can upend the world. Here's stuff, isn't it? I have a better way of doing it, and you're wrong. They'd go crazy. And that's an attack on an enterprise which is external. Moshe Rabbeinu viewed the Torah as God's guidance to mankind, the Bible as God's guidance to mankind, as something essential. And yet Korach was trying to upend it. He knew it was very clear from Korach's argument. And yet what did Moshe Rabbeinu do? If you look at it, Moshe Rabbeinu sent to make peace. That's what the Pasuk says. He sent to Korach to make peace with Korach. That's really strange. Normally speaking, if someone is trying to destroy you, and everything that you represent, they're going to be a mortal enemy. And you'll think, I got to get that person. I got to really finish him off. That was not Moshe Rabbeinu's approach. His approach was to try to befriend him, to try to rehabilitate him, to try to make him buy in to the idea of Torah philosophy. So I think that's another important lesson for you guys as you continue to get older, 34, 44, 54, 120. There'll be many incidents that occur to all of you after you make the decision and after it's unpopular. And maybe your wife says, that's really not such a good thing, no one likes us anymore. I'm sorry, we have to do what's right. And then it turns out you find one guy in your shul, in your neighborhood, that's actively working against you. It happens. And instead of being angry at the guy and not talking to that guy, and not inviting him to your son's bar mitzvah, you send over flowers and a box of candy in an attempt to befriend him. So I think that's another important lesson of life that we can glean from the parasha. And by the way, I mentioned one thing. I'm literally talking 3 hours about one. Well, I'll make it quick. In Shlach, the connection between Shlach and Torah was Rav Soloveitchik mentioned that Moshe Rabbeinu made this calculation, I should have said spies. It did not work, we know that. And Torah was afraid to attack Moshe Rabbeinu, but when he saw the populace, the pollsters were saying he's not as popular as he was previously, he figured that's a good time to move in. So a lot of times, when other circumstances occur, he may be weakened and may find more enemies coming to the fore. But despite that, Moshe Rabbeinu kept his cool, and he said he was right. And at the end, even though that guy was his enemy, was the ringleader, he said, I'm going to befriend him and try to him. So those are the 3 things: that doing what's right, going against the time, and eventually making peace with your opponent who's against you. I think those are 3 lessons that you are capable of doing and will continue to do in the legacy of previous Rambam. So good luck to you, Matzlacha. It's been a pleasure with you guys for the past 4 years, and I only wish you Matzlacha.
However, after much thought and consideration, and some coercion from my parents, I am honored to stand here today, after 4 years in this yeshiva, being able to grow as a person and take a step out of my comfort zone to recognize this moment and share some thoughts as we go into the next phase of our lives. I would like to start this speech off with a Torah thought from Mishlei Parak Vav, Pasuk Chaf, which states, Kiner mitzvah, the Torah or the Darachayim, Tochos Musar. For a commandment is a lamp, and the Torah is light, and reproving discipline is the way of life. On this pasuk, a mashal of a man who is walking in the dark of night and fears the thorns, pits, wild animals, and robbers along the way. He is also unsure of the correct direction he should be traveling. As he is walking, he finds a torch that allows him to avoid any thorns and pits, but he's still afraid of the wild animals and robbers, and he still doesn't know his way. Later, when the sun begins to come up, he is no longer fearful of the animals and robbers, but he's still uncertain of his direction. Only when he reaches a crossroad and his path becomes clear is he able to absolve himself of that final fear. Doing mitzvos is comparable to getting the torch. You have some light, but are still afraid and not sure where to go. The Torah is like the rising of the sun. It illuminates everything around you and allows you to have a much greater perspective on life. But without the right guidance and direction, you are still lost. In Paraklav, Pasuk Chaf Zayin of Mishnah, man's soul is referred to as the lamp of Hashem. The Midrash on this pasuk further explains that the lamp refers to the Torah, which illuminates a person's soul and allows him to see a clear path upon which to walk. Throughout our 4 years at Rambam, our souls have been illuminated through the lamp of mitzvos, which we had the opportunity to do plenty of, and the light of Torah. We would still all be lost, however, if we didn't have our amazing Rabbeim and teachers to give us guidance and direction, and to be great role models for how we should use the light of Torah, now illuminating all our neshamos, to guide us down the correct path. This Torah and guidance allow all of us to go into the next chapter of our lives, prepared to stay on this path. Thank you, Rabbi Freeman, for creating this environment in which so many graduating classes were able to develop the same way we did, and for being an amazing Rosh Yeshiva, Gemara teacher, and role model. Thank you, Rabbi Eliyahu, for instilling in all of us a tremendous love for Judaism, Zionism, and the land of Israel. Thank you, Rabbi Har, for always doing anything you can to help out your Talmidim, for being an amazing role model for how to carry oneself as a Jew in the secular world. And I especially appreciate and have taken advantage of the fact that your door is always open and your office always stocked with snacks and goodies, so that anyone who wants to talk feels welcome and comfortable. Thank you, Rabbi Hirschman, for being the one to inform me that I would have the honor of being salutatorian, and for breaking the news to me that this honor would come with the obligation to give a speech. Thank you as well for giving my fellow classmates and I both guidance for here and for our year ahead. Thank you, Mr./Dr. Goldman, for making me a well-rounded person with a love for the works of literature and for giving me a taste of the many literary terms and tips for reading that you have compiled. Thank you, Klani and Naomi, for making sure the school runs smoothly with all behind-the-scenes work you guys do. Thank you to my siblings for your love and support and always being my partners in crime. Of course, all of this would not be possible without the tremendous love and support from my parents. Thank you to my father, who is the epitome of hard work and who has given me the tools to achieve this accomplishment. And to my mother, who continuously held down the fort and supported me through thick and thin. Last but certainly not least, thank you to my Bubby Spearman, who has been there for me, helping me with countless hours of homework, rides to and from yeshiva, and more morning bagels than I care to count. You have shown me by example what true Ahavas HaTorah is, whether it be through your Divrei Torah at the Shabbos table, or the many nights you sat by my side going over Chumash. Your enthusiasm for Torah is contagious, and for that I'm forever grateful. Finally, to all my fellow graduates and classmates, it's been an amazing 4 years with all of you. Keep carrying the torch, and congratulations.
past 4 years, and goes to Emily. All you have to do is stand up. And a virtual hand. Next is Rambam Graduation, managing the breadth and skills in the study of Talmud. That goes to Real Friedman. Full disclosure when I will. I love it. Study and practice of Jewish law goes to School Recording. Dennis Gross. And the study of Torah, Gene, and Zoom goes to Mordechai Newman. You can see I'm not more than that long. And Mishnah, excellence in study of Mishnah, goes to Arizona. Special award, Saul Appelman was a Rebbe here many years. He passed away, unfortunately. He used to do the Daf Yomi in the base medrash. We had a Saul Appelman Sacred Tzaddik Masmid Award, which we started after his passing. It's for the diligence in the study of Torah, and that once again goes to the Torah. Scholar, a dear friend, a rabbi, a physician, a brilliant guy. I think the only time he got under 100 was when he took a cholesterol test and got a 98. Overall excellence in Torah, Midos, academic studies, I do, and more than that.
Same idea, I call you in, you stand up. The award is waiting for you. Okay, awards for overall excellence in the study of sciences, assessment. Award for the overall excellence in the study of social sciences, Benjamin Gross. Award for overall excellence in the study of English literature, David Engelson. Award for overall excellence in the study of computer science, Shmuel Bulach. Award for overall excellence in the study of math, Ami Dub. You want us to take it back? We can negotiate with you. Award for overall excellence in the study of the humanities, Mayor Pearl.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the graduates. I'm Hillel Goldman, Associate Principal. The Torah Communications Kesser Shem Tov Award for Outstanding Character, Midos, and Derech Eretz goes to Gabriel Friedman. The Dr. Howie Gutterman Memorial Chesed Award for Outstanding Leadership and Service to Klal Yisrael goes to David Engelson, Rambam Class of 2012 and his family, I am honored to present this next award in memory of his brother Philip, who lived a life of simcha, kindness, and positivity. The Philip Bach Memorial Kesser Shem Tov Award for demonstrating the values of kindness and chesed in your demeanor, actions, and worldview goes to Boaz Duffy. The Moshe Lipinchuk Ramanachai Rambam Memorial Award for outstanding midos and concern for others, epitomizing the ideal of Kol Yisrael Re'im Zelazeh, goes to Yaakov Lazar. The Yeshiva University Book Award for demonstrating outstanding academics, leadership, and community service goes to Chai Redner. This next award, the Tom Nathan Memorial Award, is named after my late uncle, who exemplified outstanding midos, humility, and service to the community. The award goes to Yehuda Kestenbach. The Rambam Ruach Award for musical talent and eagerness to share his work with others goes to Yehuda Ramstein. The awards are called Rabbi Avi Hirschman, Assistant Rosh Yisrael.
Always have to lower it, Mr. Coleman. The Mr. Jack Israel Memorial Award, exemplifying outstanding midos and humility. Speak cats. And raise a couple of them. The Osei B'Tzarchei Tzibor Award, outstanding leadership on behalf of the Rambam community, Akiva Roth. The Brady Francis Sportsman of the Year Award for being the best sportsman on and off the court, team leader, and all-around athlete, Yaakov Schaffer. The Derek Award for being a positive presence, having a positive attitude, and making it look easy, Marcello Mimoun. Scholar Athlete Award for excellence in the classroom and in the athletic arena, Yosef Shedler. The Makom She'ein Ish Award for being your own person while retaining the personal touch, Yosef Kalba. The Baruch Haba Award, the outsider who immediately became an insider, Yitzi Nisani. Now I'll call Rabbi Elliot back up to discuss the National Honor Society.
Since it's a lot of names, let me call all of them, and then you're going to get a big round of applause at the end of all these names. I appreciate all those little bills that slipped under my door. Thank you so much. Okay, Ellie Bruggenstein. Oh, stand up, stand up. Stand up when I call your name, and then a big round of applause. The National Honor Society is for students who kept a very high average throughout sophomore, junior, and senior year at Rambam, and that's across the board. So it's Ellie Bruggenstein, Ami Dub, Zeb David Engelson, Gavriel Friedman, Binyamin Gross, Noam Klein, Moshe Kapelovich, Mordechai Newman, Azaria Sussman, and Ari Zuz. To give out the Kiyas Masmidim Award to our Kodesh Honor Society.
Mazel tov to everybody. It was a great moment. I'd like to, if you don't mind, pick up from where Rabbi Friedman left off and remind the graduates how honored you should be to have wonderful parents that you do. And it's not enough to shake your hand, shake your head. I'd like you to stand up and give a round of applause to your parents. I'm honored to be part of this program. That this program honors what we know at Rambam is the most important aspect of our life, Talmud Torah and Edim. So we're here to honor those who either spent voluntary time learning either at night after school or during lunch 2 days a week, as well as those who took upon themselves, once again on their own, to take part in the NCSY and KIAS program, where they actually studied learned on their own and took 4 tests throughout the year. And I think that's a wonderful achievement, considering all the work that we have as far as the other classes go. So I want to honor all those people as well. I also want to thank the Rabbeim who took part in our Masmidim program, giving up their time either to give shiur at night or to give shiur at lunch. I want to thank the Rabbeim as well. And of course, I want to thank Rabbi Friedman for allowing us to have such wonderful programs. For his wonderful support as well. The following people participated at one point in time, either in the Masmidim program or the KIAS program. Ellie Brockenstein. Tommy Dewey.
I'm addressing my remarks to the seniors. You could all listen. Good evening, Erev Tov. I want to speak to you, the graduates, about your immediate future. For to a great extent, our job here the last 4 years was to prepare you for the next 6 to 10 years of yeshiva and college and graduate schooling. Some advice for most of you, who God willing will be in yeshiva this coming fall in the United Israel. Give yourself some time to acclimate to your new surroundings. Food, dorms, reality, routines. Try to focus on what is positive and stay away from harping on what you don't like. I can almost guarantee you that almost all of you will be fully acclimated by late November. Don't approach yeshiva in Israel as 13th grade. If you do, you will gain very little from this potentially remarkable experience. Do not fall into the trap of using your first year in Israel merely to get used to the idea that you're no longer in yeshiva high school, thus making your Shana Bet, in essence, your Shana Aleph. Come into yeshiva ready to be serious about applying yourself. You are, in essence, in yeshiva graduate school. You have no distractions. This year is about immersing yourself in the study, culture, and practice of Torah. Nowhere is better suited for this than Eretz HaKodesh, Medinat Israel. You must do some learning during the summer, regardless of what your summer job is. Otherwise, you will show up at yeshiva out of shape. You will be spending the first 3 months getting back to where you were the last day of Shir and Rambam Sifta. That would be a shame and a waste of valuable time. Don't go into this experience with the false notion that I'll get into it. Oh, I'll turn it on in a few months in yeshiva. In my opinion, that's a very silly and childlike attitude. You need to show up ready to take it in and absorb what is being offered. No yeshiva has a special jar of getting into yeshiva and learning fairy dust that will be sprinkled on you after you arrive. It's all up to you. Do you want to take advantage of what is being offered? Or are you just looking to be 6,000 miles away from your parents and kind of be free? All of this is totally in your control. It's not up to your friends. It's not up to your roommates. It's up to you. For all of you, regardless of the type of yeshiva you attend, besides learning Gemara and Musar, you should set up sturim to learn Chumash, Navi, Mishnah, Rambam, Halacha, and Machshava during your time in yeshiva. As important as it is to look up to your Rebbeim in yeshiva in Israel, remember that in Yahadut we don't need a conduit to get closer to the Almighty. That is something each and every one of us can do in our tefillot, in our learning, and keeping our mitzvot, which gives us the potential individually to get closer to the Kadosh Baruch Hu. If you are attending a Hesed yeshiva, make it your goal to be able to attend an Israeli Hebrew shir by the time Pesach rolls around. Set up at least one charuta with a Shana Dalet Israeli. Make use of the many chugim that yeshiva offers. If you're attending a non-Hesed yeshiva, make sure to set up at least one charuta with a Shana Bet student early in the year. Everyone should learn Hilchot Tshuva, if possible, in the Rambam during the month of Elul. In the yeshiva you attend, or if the yeshiva you attend offers trips around Israel, take advantage of them and get to see and experience parts of Israel in a new and more mature way. If your yeshiva offers a trip to Poland to visit where our people lived for centuries and then were exterminated in death camps, participating in these very important and emotional programs. I also recommend that you work on improving your Hebrew and Aramaic vocabulary so you can start using Sfarim on your own. Experiences you should have while you're in Israel. Take notice of the fact that in Israel, being Jewish is the norm. The culture of the entire country is Jewish. Walk around any city, but especially Yerushalayim, on a Shabbat or any Chag, and feel the atmosphere. Daven at the Kotel on a Friday night. Daven at the Kotel, Chol Hamoed Sukkot. Experience Birkat Kohanim. Spend the Shabbat in Yeshivat Hesder. By the way, there's 74 of them in Israel. Find out from any Rosh Yeshiva that you're in, and they'll tell you about the 74 Hesder Yeshivot. Spend one Shabbat there. Spend the Shabbat in the old city of Tzfat. Spend the Shabbat in the Mechinah in Eli. It is the West Point of the religious world in Israel. Go to a Rebbe's Tish, any Hasidic Rebbe, doesn't make a difference. Ger, Bobov, Stolin, Kloisenberg, whatever it is, go to one Tish. Go to a Brit Milah at Marat HaMachpelah. Volunteer to work in a soup kitchen. Volunteer to work with disadvantaged kids. Volunteer to work in Lekki, Israel. Help pick up crops in a field. The vegetables go to the poor in Israel. Volunteer to work in a hospital. Walk through Mea Sharim before Sukkot and watch the sales at the Arba Haminim. Be in an IDF base for Hanukkah when they're lighting in the menorah. Walk through the streets of Yerushalayim on Purim. Be at the Kotel HaMaravi during an IDF swearing-in ceremony. Plant a tree on Tu B'Shvat, preferably in the Ot Kedumim, not far from Modi'in. Walk around Yerushalayim on Erev Pesach. Be anywhere in the country on Yom HaShoah and hear the sirens go off in the morning and watch the entire country come to a standstill. Be at Har Herzl on Yom HaZikaron. Feel the country's collective pain. Earlier that day, make sure to hear the siren and watch the entire country come to a standstill yet again. Daven in Yeshivat Merkaz Harav on Yom Erev Yom Ha'atzmaut. It's like davening on Yom Tov. Daven at any Hezbollah Yeshiva or Yeshivat Merkaz Harav on Yom Ha'atzmaut. Daven at the Kotel on Yom Yerushalayim. Read if you'll be in Israel during the summer. Read Megillat Eicha overlooking the old city of Yerushalayim on Tisha B'Av. For those going straight to college, remember that now the overall atmosphere in most American colleges is one, to say the least, that is not very friendly to a Torah-based system of values and beliefs. Furthermore, the attitude towards American patriotism and nationalism in general is a very negative one. Israel, being one of the only, if not the only, first world country that is openly religious, patriotic, and has a drafted military, is specifically attacked and lied about in a way that would make the infamous Nazi collaborator, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, Hajj Amin al-Husseini, blush. Today, in most non-science and non-math classes offered in college, there is no longer room for more than one opinion. A new hardcore leftist dogma has settled in that would probably make the founders of these very same universities sick to their stomachs. Since colleges and universities were meant to be places of inquiry and expanding one's intellectual horizons. This all means that you really need to know who you are, where you came from, and what you have learned from your parents, or from yeshiva, through preschool to your last year at Rambam Graduation. You can't show up in college as if you are a blank canvas that needs to be painted on. You can and should be proud that you are an Orthodox Jew and a proud supporter of the modern state of Israel. Please be connected to the OU or Chabad on your campus. Please be connected to the pro-Israel organizations like StandWithUs.com or AIPAC or NORPAC on your campus. You need to know you are not alone. There is a support system on most college campuses. If there is anything you need from any of us here at Rambam Graduation, we're here to support you and help you. You all have our email addresses and our cell phone numbers. We'll finish off the bracha from the Tanakh. This is at the beginning of Yoshua, when the Kadosh Baruch Hu gives a bracha to Yoshua and to all Klal Yisrael. רק חזק ואמץ מאוד לשמור לעשות ככל התורה שציווך משה עבדי. אל תסור ממנו ימין ושמאל, למען תשכיל בכל אשר תלך. לא ימוש ספר התורה הזה מפיך, והגית בו יומם ולילה, למען תשמור לעשות ככל הכתוב בו, כי אז תצליח את דרכך ואז תשכיל. בהצלחה, good luck. It is my honor and pleasure to introduce our next speaker, our valedictorian. For excellence in achieving the highest overall GPA in both Limudei Kodesh and secular studies, and for being the personification of learning the Shema, the valedictorian award is presented to Azaria Susser.
thank the speakers before me, specifically Rabbi Eliyahu and Benito for this slope. That was a lot. Appreciate it. Okay. Got a lot of pages here. Thank you, Mr. Goldman, for telling me I can go 35 minutes. I brought enough material by the last hour. Okay. Rishus, Rabbi Friedman, Rabbi Eliyahu, Rabbi Palmer, Rabbi Christian. Mr. Goldman, parents, grandparents, family, and my fellow graduates. Life is full of questions. There are two types: hard questions and big questions. Hard questions are difficult because they have an answer. A calculus problem is a hard question. Big questions are difficult because they often don't have answers. They're the whys of life and its meaning. Big questions are the ones that keep us up at night. When preparing for this graduation, I was kept up at night with a big question. I would think, is the phrase Torah, Midos, excellence really what represents the school best? Does it fully capture the essence of what it means to be a Rambam man? Naturally, when in conflict, like Mr. Goldman teaches, I attack my problems with my pen. Because as everyone knows, your pen is your sword. I went where few had gone before to do what few had ever done. I read the complete mission statement on the website. Yes, Mr. Goldman, you now have to change your open house speech for next year. Now that's 3 people that read the mission statement. Reading the mission statement succeeded in calming the scary feeling residing in the pit of my stomach. In the words of Mark Twain, I didn't have time to write a short letter, so I wrote a long one instead. Simplicity kills nuance. Looking through the mission statement, I found some more complete phrases that redefine the simple Torah, Midos, excellence into a more complete picture that does indeed capture the spirit of the school. So here's one line that really stood out to me. We view Torah as a mission to the world. Torah, Midos, and excellence are not 3 separate things, but one mission. Rambam Masifta has taught us all to serve the world in the way of a Rambam man. To live by the Torah and conduct ourselves properly. Like the Rambam says, to do mitzvahs as a way to perfect our character and achieve true religious objectivity and come close to Hashem. In that regard, Torah, Midos, and excellence are a complete code of life, a motto of sorts for our Rambam family in Christ. And truthfully, it really does feel like a family. From teachers who can accurately predict sports teams' records before the season even starts, and for those of you who say it's easy to predict the win this season, he gets the scores right also. He knows how much we're going to lose by. To coaches who are not only CPR trained, but CPR certified, and to teachers who honestly feel more like a friend's dad than a teacher. The family culture is real. When I was reading the mission statement, I saw some other lines that stood out to me, and I want to focus on them today. We teach our students the lessons of Amalek, that evil must be confronted. A program of Jewish activism demonstrates to our students how they can make a difference in the political arena. There's a famous joke making fun of the Shabbos afternoon meal. They say it's a time where everyone sits down and tries to solve the world's problems. People ridicule it. They say it's a form of hubris to think you can solve the world's problems. That you're being overly self-confident or self-important and very arrogant. After all, the world is so big and you're so small, what can you do? Honestly, for a long time, I felt the same way, until I saw real change for myself. I recently spent some time around a group of extraordinary people who have made real changes to the world. One, Ari Greenspan, who among other things is largely responsible for the resurgence of Cheres throughout the world. Another, Rudy Rockman, a famous social media activist for Israel issues who founded students supporting Israel on college campuses. And another, who again, who among many other things, Shal Wheel, is a leading expert on femicide. Obviously, these people were extraordinary in dedication to the issues they cared about, but other than that, they were normal people, just like me and you. When you meet people who do extraordinary things and realize how ordinary they are, you realize that you too can make an impact. It's very empowering. The biggest difference I noticed in these people was their mindset in approaching problems. Rather than focusing on the problems and complaining like the issues of the last few parshios, they quickly moved on and looked for a solution. As the Rambam man ad says, to be a campaigner, not a complainer. To my fellow graduates, you can make a difference to the issues you care about. As anthropologist Margaret Mead says best, never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. We are indeed a small group of concerned citizens. Change can be impactful even if very small. Like my grandfather, who I also consider to my rabbi, says, If you alter the course of a ship, even 1 degree, you end up in the wrong place. Or in this case, a different, better place. You don't know the true impact of your change. It's a message that's shown rather than told at Rambam, where Rabbi Friedman and Rabbi Ella give a master class on how to create change for the issues that you care about, and for that we're all appreciative. So a round of applause for them. Perhaps one of the most unique characteristics of our grade is how not cool we are. There's none of the usual social ladder climbing materialistic culture. We just don't really care. This puts us in a unique position for the future. Since we don't fall prey to the status or coin chase that is unfortunately so prevalent in our communities these days, we can devote our lives to the community, to the world, and to the things that we care about. To my fellow classmates, each one of us can escape the Shabbos afternoon trope of being problem-oriented and start working on solutions. Never tell me why something is a problem. And I never want to hear you say, I can't do anything about it. Stand up for what you believe in and say, I want it that way. Then go out and make that change. In the words of Rambam's most famous and best poet, Benjamin Born-Tati Warner, sorry, every single one of us is heaven sent. I want to finish with some thank yous. Firstly, I need to thank Rambam's excellent debater mock trial coach of the last 3 years for helping me to improve my speech writing and speaking skills. So thank you, David Engelson. To my Rebbe, Rabbi Daniel Epstein, thank you to the sidewalks for keeping me off the streets. Next, I would like to thank my parents. So my mother said I can't thank you, so to borrow a page from Rambam Graduation, mommy, who really helped me with everything and was through all this with me, thanks for nothing. I told me not to thank her, so I couldn't say thank you. Thank you to my family. You've all been there for me the whole way, whether that be Rebbe, teacher, coach, mentor, late night stroller buddy, or grandparent. We all know is all of the above. Thank you for everything. Thank you to ice cream cones for keeping my hands clean. Finally, for no one client, thank you to all my brothers. I want to finish by addressing the class. So, I didn't think this would be so hard for me to do, but in the past couple of years, all I wanted to do was get out of high school, just be done with high school. But I didn't realize it was going to be this hard. As you all can see, like during all the awards, everyone's having a good time, laughing around, joking. It's really going to be hard to leave all of you. So thank you for a great 4 years. You can clap. And to finish off, I want to say that you can take a man out of Rambam, but you can't take Rambam out of a Rambam man.
That was great. I did prop through. I don't skate, full disclosure. So skating on thin ice is very dangerous for someone like me that doesn't skate. So I thought we should appreciate it. Thank you, Mrs. Friedman. Just going to finish that.
For the presentation of the senior gift to the school, please welcome Boaz Duffler, Noam Klein, Yaakov Lazar, Kiva Rock, and Isaiah Sussman.
Rishos, Rabbi Freeman, Rabbi Eliav, Rabbi Har, Rabbi Hirschman, Doc, our Rebbeim, teachers, parents, and fellow graduates. When the year started, we signed up to serve breakfast, and we ended up basically becoming senior council. Because of this esteemed privilege, we have had a we have had a close-up look at all the school does behind the scenes, and we truly understand what goes into running a school. And we want to get a gift to present our gratitude.
This led to getting this gift, this whole thing over here, which we say, as we say elementary every single day after eating, we're giving this plaque to express our appreciation to all the school has given us. May this plaque continue to spread appreciation for years to come.
So Senior Gift 2023 presented to Rambam on the occasion of our graduation. May this gift enhance your tefilos and akar datov with appreciation the class of 2023 5783.
Why we all came. Diploma goes to Ellie Brooklyn. Going alphabetical order. Pictures. Next diploma is
Marcello. Mordechai Mo Newman. Yitzchak Nisani. Max Mayer Pearl. Chai Redner. Akiva Roth. Yehuda Rumstein. Yaakov Shafrin. Joseph Shedlow. David Stricker. Azariah Stosner. Samuel Gula. Menachem Weiss. Acharon Habib. Ari Zunz. And now it gives me great pleasure to introduce our associate principal, soon to be Dr. Goldman.
Rishus Rabbi Friedman, Rabbi Elia, Rabbi Har, Rabbi Hirschman, Rabbi Din, Shmuley Glick, faculty, parents, grandparents, and all the graduates. I'd like to take this opportunity, as I always do, to acknowledge and thank Rabbi Friedman, Rabbi Elia, Rabbi Har, Rabbi Hirschman, the Rebbeim, the faculty, Naomi, Connie, Mrs. Friedman, Racheli, Aaron, the support staff, the rest of the administration, and the parent and student bodies for allowing me to serve the Rambam community. Thank you. The values of Rambam really are our family values, and I try to be mindful of lest I am to have landed in this place. I'm not going to disagree, thank you. And I strive to live up to the mission of the school, which we've now all heard, both at 284 Mott and beyond. And to pick up on what Benjamin said earlier, to bring some light to the darkness whenever I can. And if I ever do, is in thanks in large part to the team around me. So thank you again to the faculty and the whole Rambam team. I'd also like to thank my wife for all of her support. Anything I've accomplished here is thanks to her dedication to the school as well. And remember, graduates, whenever a Rambam man gets a microphone in the audience, you should thank his wife. Graduates, as you know, it isn't a Rambam assembly if someone doesn't get a plaque. So, I would like to present the last plaque on this special night. Well, Baruch Hashem, all the graduates are deserving of even more accolades. I thought it was fitting to acknowledge someone who set and maintained the tone for the whole year, Boaz Duffler. Boaz led our davening at the Shabbaton. He set the tone for spirituality. He sang at the dinner, and he sang tonight. And as one of his last acts as a senior, he arranged for the senior class to be swabbed by the Gift of Life organization. So, the Schneer Yuri Kaplan Award for Outstanding Leadership in Chesed goes to Boaz Duffler. They continue to personify the idea of a leader as someone who takes the lead in order to give back. Now, graduates, I think about all the awards that we're in tonight. Awards that focus on intensive learning of Torah, halakha, awards that praise scholarship, leadership, talent, midos, and I contrast that with something in our culture that I think captures the zeitgeist, or spirit of our times. Compare your grade to the following progressive insurance commercial that I can't get out of my mind. The commercial features a progressive worker who is meeting a man buying insurance. The speed at which the insurance sale and implementation is done is so great that the two men suddenly find themselves free. The man who bought the insurance declares, "Man, I told my wife I'd be here for hours. What are we going to do now?" The insurance salesman, in a moment of intensity, declares, "We live." The scene then cuts to the two of them, frolicking together on a bouncy house, playing tag, laughing and hanging out in a barbershop, seemingly releasing a pigeon into the wild, and engaging in an underground arm wrestling scene, which if you look close enough, Marcello's in the background. The fantasies of the insurance salesman are cut short, however, when the customer interrupts and says, "Whoa, I was actually thinking I would just take a nap." Now I ask myself, how would that commercial look if it were a Rambam man in that situation? What would he do with that gift of time? I think he would handle it the way the class of 2023 did with their extra time. Rather than retreat from the world, he would engage the world. Maybe he would pick up a sefer and do some extra learning. You saw how many Masmidim this grade has. Or maybe he would organize a can drive to get American and Israeli troops much needed items. He would run a blood drive or get his classmates swabbed. You saw how many of these students earned awards for chesed and leadership. He would offer to help. He wouldn't hide from his wife or from himself. When a Rambam man hears the words, "we live," he doesn't think bouncy house, hanging out at the barbershop, or arm wrestling, or even freeing a pigeon. He thinks about living for others, helping someone move into their house, hanging up flyers, getting people involved in chesed, rallying to free someone in prison, and wrestling with the Gemara Sugya with the ideas of our time. As it says in Pirkei Avos, "Ein lecha ben chorin ela mi she'osek b'talmud Torah." For there is no free man, but one that occupies himself with the study of Torah. The irony of the progressive commercial, of course, is that the word progressive itself means engaging or constituting forward motion. There is no freedom for someone who is in a jail or moving backwards or in a state of stagnation. The name progressive is the exact opposite of the commercial, which is a retrogression to childhood delights and adolescent frivolity, as opposed to a call to adventure, responsibility, and leadership. The exact opposite of what a Rambam man is and can do. And the saddest part of the commercial, when the progressive agent is told that the other man just wants to nap. And while again the fantasy that they have stuff of great value is he just responds, okay. He gives up. He does not look to inspire the other man and wake him up. He accepts defeat not with a bang or even a whimper, but with a sort of indifference that is worse than hope. Rabbi Lam notes that in the Gemara Horaya discusses the order of sage, king, high priest, and prophet. This is the proper order of priority of the classes we as Jews value most. The sage for Torah, the king for service, the high priest for tradition, and the prophet for inspiration in dark times. Graduates, please rise. In all of you are elements of these four classes of Jews. They are separate classes of Jews, but internally, in your minds and hearts, they are vying to be your focus. Do you serve Hashem in the community in any given way through learning, service, holding the line, or progressing the line forward? I'm confident that each of you, by virtue of what you have accomplished here, will have the wisdom to know which class must take center stage at that moment. And you will not only know what it means to properly live, but inspire others to live a meaningful life that is a life of Torah, midos, excellence, and service. So, without further ado, graduates, by the power vested in me by the Village of Lawrence and the State of New York, I do hereby declare you the class of 2023, 5783, Mazel Tov.